What makes Epson's 2D and 3D products stand out from the rest? And of course, we will also show you our latest products and technology innovations. I cannot imagine a more appropriate venue to talk about the present and the future of home cinema than the auditorium that we are in today. In Berlin, a capital that has reinvented itself while keeping its identity. And at Mexico, which the architect Frank Gehry called the best thing I have ever done. As you will have guessed on the backdrop, the theme of today is 3D. How it has moved from being an old aspiration to a modern reality. In particular, we will unveil how Epson is engineering 3D for entertainment. But before that, I would like to start by looking back at the past. Adding depth to flat images has been a great challenge for centuries. The Amalfi portrait painted by the Flemish master Jan van Eyck in the 15th century is not only a remarkable work of art, it is also one of the earliest attempts to depict space by adding depth and perspective. Looking back to the very beginning of cinema, we find that the idea of projecting moving images in 3 dimensions is actually not that new. In the late 19th century, while the Lumiere brothers were busy developing the cinematograph, British film pioneer William Freeze Green patented the first 3D movie making process. Under this technique, 2 films were projected side by side onto a screen, while the viewer looked through a stereoscope to converge the 2 images. In 1950s America, 3D film enjoyed a golden era, with all major studios releasing a series of successful 3D films. Most of the films made during this boom were projected dual strip with polarized films. Which brings us to today, and what is considered as the rebirth of 3D film. Avatar was the most successful film of all time and created in 3D. Driving a resurgence in 3D filmmaking in the 21st century. You might remember at last year's IFA, we said that once the market was ready and the content was ready, Epson would be there with the perfect 3D product. Epson prides itself on 2 things, pioneering projection technologies and exceeding customer expectations. When it comes to innovation and technology, we truly believe in giving our customers the best possible experience. And while we are not the first to market with 3D, we are the best. As you would expect from the market leader, we don't get to this position by delivering products which are anything less than amazing. The market can therefore now see that 3D is worth experiencing. But we will tell you all about our new products a little bit later. First, let me explain why we think the market is ready for 3D today. Today we can safely say that there is an expanding 3D cinema industry. In fact, 12% of all cinema installations worldwide are 3D, 22% of which are in Europe. We also see a solid lineup of 3D content with no less than 45 new films due for release over the next couple of years. The expected 3D remastering of classic blockbusters like Star Wars will also support a growing bank of available content. Not only that, but the TV broadcasting industry is also moving towards acceptance and adoption of 3D. With no less than 35 new channels launching worldwide. In Europe, Sky was the first broadcaster to launch a 3D TV channel with some of the best sports, movies and entertainment. What we also know is that in 4 years from now, 27% of all European households will be 3D capable, and that nearly a quarter of all Blu-ray DVD sales will be 3D. In fact, we're already entering an era where we consume and produce 3D content. More and more tech-savvy people purchase 3D capable video cameras, and watch that content on 3D projectors. We also know that gamers are early technology adopters. No surprise then that all of the major gaming platforms will have an impressive lineup of 3D games by the end of the year. But finally, and more importantly, consumers have